The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever's final stretch of the regular season didn't unfold like a fairy tale. It played out like a fight for survival. Their roster was stripped down by injuries, their brightest star was sidelined, and their playoff hopes seemed ready to collapse. And yet, on a night against the Minnesota Lynx, the team that had embarrassed them weeks earlier, Indiana rose. What unfolded wasn't just another win. It was a statement. It began with a memory. Last time the Fever faced Minnesota, fans couldn't believe their eyes. Lexi Hull had taken an elbow to the face from Kayla McBride, blood streaming, her head snapping back, and somehow, the referees didn't punish McBride. Instead, they called the foul on Hull. The moment was shocking. It became a symbol of Indiana's struggles all year, fighting not just opponents, but perception. That injustice burned in the minds of Fever fans, and it lingered in Hull herself. Fast forward. The Fever stepped back onto the court to face the Lynx again, this time carrying all the scars of a season that should have broken them. Caitlin Clark? Out for the year with a groin injury. Sophie Cunningham? Gone with an MCL tear. Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, Ari McDonald, all sidelined. That list looked more like a starting lineup than an injury report. Every game became a test of resilience. Every win had to come from players nobody thought could shoulder the burden. This was supposed to be Clark's season. Her rookie campaign wasn't just about numbers. It was about making Indiana matter again. She had sold out arenas, lit up broadcasts, and injected new energy into a franchise starved for relevance. To see it end with a press release, season over, was gutting. For fans, it was heartbreak. For the Fever, it was an identity crisis. Without Clark, who were they? That's when Kelsey Mitchell answered. She wasn't just good, she was historic. Carrying the offense every night, she averaged over 20 points a game, a pace that pushed her past Tamika Catching's single-season scoring record. And she did it under suffocating pressure. Defenses doubled her. Scout reports keyed on her. She had no margin for error, and yet she kept finding ways to break through. Mitchell wasn't just surviving, she was thriving, the heartbeat of a team that refused to fold. And beside her, Aaliyah Boston gave Indiana the stability it desperately needed. 15 points a night, over 8 rebounds a game in the final stretch, and a new franchise record for single-season rebounds. She wasn't flashy, she was reliable. And in a season, this chaotic reliability meant everything. Every time the Fever looked like they might collapse, Boston steadied them. She was the anchor holding the storm together. But the real story wasn't just the stars. It was the players who weren't supposed to be there. Hardship signings who came off the bench and put up double-digit performances. Veterans like Odyssey Sims, once dismissed, proving she still belonged at this level with fearless drives and mid-range jumpers. Aerial Powers bearing back-to-back threes, just when Minnesota looked ready to climb back in. Natasha Howard plugging every hole the team had, defending, rebounding, and scoring when possessions stalled. This was not a team limping into the postseason. This was a team that had learned how to turn every setback into fuel, and then came Minnesota. The Lynx weren't just another opponent. They were the gold standard, the league's best team, the measuring stick for every contender, and for Indiana, they were also the source of lingering bitterness, the elbow, the bad calls, the humiliation of the last meeting. This wasn't just another game. This was a chance to rewrite the story. From the opening tip, Indiana made sure nobody mistook them for underdogs. A 10-0 run to start the game forced Minnesota into an early timeout. By halftime, the Fever had doubled up the Lynx, shooting nearly 60% from the floor, while Minnesota bricked 3 after 3, 2 makes out of 20 attempts. Every miss from the Lynx was met with a roar from the Indiana crowd, a sense that the script was finally flipping. And then it happened. Second quarter. Lexi Hull found herself matched up against Kayla McBride, the same player who had left her bloodied weeks before. McBride lunged at the ball. Hull crossed over. One quick hesitation and McBride stumbled, her legs giving out, her balance gone. She hit the floor as the crowd exploded. Hull didn't even need to hit the shot for the moment to matter. It was already immortal. Fans called it karma. Teammates jumped to their feet screaming. Clips hit social media within minutes, going viral. For Hull, it was just another play. But for everyone who had seen the injustice of that elbow and that ridiculous technical foul, this was vindication. It wasn't violent. It wasn't dirty. It was basketball justice, clean, skillful, and undeniable. Hull's redemption summed up the Fever's entire season. Written off, undermined, left for dead, and yet still standing. Still fighting. Still writing moments nobody could ignore. Her defense, her shot making, her toughness, all of it mattered beyond that one highlight. She wasn't a role player anymore. She was a symbol of what Indiana had become, resilient, fearless, and unafraid of the moment. The Fever didn't just beat Minnesota, they controlled them. They exposed the Lynx as human, handed them a 72-point night, one of their weakest outputs of the season, and never once looked rattled. By the final buzzer, the scoreboard read 83-72, Indiana's third straight win, their 24th of the year, and with it, their first winning season since 2015. 9 years of frustration, of rebuilding and falling short, were finally erased. And even as Clark sat on the sideline in street clothes, her presence never disappeared. Cameras caught her signaling for timeouts, shouting coverages, even joking with refs. Teammates looked to her like she was a coach. Her voice still carried weight. Her leadership still mattered. Indiana's future is still built around her, but in that game, the team proved they don't live or die by her presence alone. That night wasn't about Caitlin Clark. It wasn't about excuses or injuries or what they didn't have. It was about what they did have. A team that learned to thrive under pressure. A team that embraced its role as the underdog and used it as fuel. A team that stepped into the postseason not as passengers, but as fighters with something to prove. For fans, this was catharsis. For the players, it was validation. For Lexi Hull, it was redemption. This wasn't a fluke. This was Indiana finally standing up and saying they belong. And now, as they head into the playoffs with momentum, a question lingers. If this team can push through everything that went wrong this year, what happens when everything goes right? What happens when Clark returns healthy and rested alongside Boston, Mitchell, and a bench that has proven its worth? The Fever's future no longer looks fragile. It looks dangerous. So here's the question for you. Was Lexi Hull's crossover the ultimate revenge moment of the season, or was it just the beginning of Indiana's rise as a legitimate playoff threat? Drop your thoughts in the comments, show some love for the Fever, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story from the heart of the game.